Mario Kart 8!
Hi everybody, welcome to my review of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe for the Nintendo Switch. I realize it's been quite a number of months since I did a video game review, considering the last game I reviewed was so good. But, yeah, I'm trying to get back into that, and I'm just going to jump right into it. So, the concept of Mario Kart 8 is essentially the same as the other Mario Kart games. It's a racing game with Mario characters, with DK characters, and even characters now from Splatoon or Animal Crossing, and even Link from the Zelda series is now a playable character. And, of course, you play across all kinds of different wacky stages, and there's a lot of items in store. You can play with multiple people, and, of course, there's a lot of unpredictability involved, along with just a lot of different options available. So that's the basic concept of Mario Kart. Now, I'm going to get into the presentation of Mario Kart 8. First off, why don't I let you take a gander at how this game looks, because it runs very smooth, and I want you to be able to demonstrate that. So as you can see, Mario Kart 8 runs very smoothly. I think it's 60 frames per second. It's silky smooth, which you need in a fast-paced racing game like this. Visually speaking, the game looks good on the Switch. It's very vibrant, the colors are very bright, and the lighting effects are rather impressive. That said, it doesn't really push the Switch very much in power. It's probably a little bit of a scale up from the Wii U version, but not enough to really tell the difference, so it doesn't significantly push the Switch. Everything overall looks good, but nothing like to write home about as far as I'm concerned. The music is very catchy, and it definitely fits the game very well, so I don't really have any complaints regarding the music. Gameplay-wise, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is overall pretty solid. The controls work quite well. They're very tight, smooth, and fluid. And overall, there's a nice variety of levels and stages, as well as characters. Though, really, unlike Smash Brothers, where every character really feels different, the characters in this game feel like almost like just an avatar, if you will. But it's still cool, and they do have their own little fun animations. Now, there's also customization in this game, but I'm not really going to go into that. I'm going to focus on the core gameplay experience. So, overall, Mario Kart has always been in sort of an unconventional racing game due to the fact that you do use items like Mario Koopa shells or bananas or what have you, which adds a sense of unpredictability to the gameplay, and it always has. Now, this is both a good and a bad thing. It's a good thing because it definitely keeps you on your toes, but it can also be a bad thing because oftentimes, whether or not you're in first or last place really can depend on pure luck. Like, sometimes you'll literally be inches from the finish line only to have a blue shell take you out and get you from literally second place to 8th place. It's kind of ridiculous, and it's something that's specifically been annoying to me in the newer Mario Kart games, and this one unfortunately is no exception. Now, overall, the gameplay and stages are a lot of fun. Like, there's a lot of new stages in this game that have a cool sort of figure 8 feel, definitely some interesting physics that almost feel evocative of Super Mario Galaxy, which I like a lot. That said, a lot of them feel upscale by some of the older stages, like specifically those from Mario Kart 64 or the GameCube Double Dash game, which remains my favorite Mario Kart game of all time. a lot of it feels almost like a greatest hits of sorts, rather than like a completely like new Mario Kart game, which I think is true for the Wii U version as well as the Switch version as well. Now, this game does have a battle mode, which was something that was severely lacking from the Wii U version of this game. The battle mode is really solid. It's just great fun to just sort of pound your enemies while cruising around a stage, and yeah, the stages all offer some really neat, different locations, and I definitely think that that was the primary reason why I waited out to get this game for the Switch, was after I heard of the battle mode, and I'm glad I did, because the battle mode is a lot of fun, and definitely a highlight of the game. Now, as with all Mario Kart games, you can play this game in single player, which I actually have done quite a bit. However, the real blast is playing it with friends. It's a lot more fun to play with other people than it is to play on your own. Now, it's fun to play on your own to be able to get coins and things of that nature, but it doesn't compare to playing with other people. Now, I'm going to talk about the online play, which overall has been really solid. I've had a little bit of hiccup with the online play, but overall it's worked quite well. The downside is, even with the Switch, Nintendo really does need to get a more conventional voice acting for their online games. They've definitely knocked it out of the park in terms of fluidity with online, in terms of connecting with other players. And while I myself don't use voice chat, I really do think Nintendo needs to get with the times, as it were, and start getting on that. But that's beside the point. The online is really good, really fun. You can play regional, you can play with friends, you can play battle, you can play with racing mode. It's a good time. Overall, the gameplay in Mario Kart 8 is entertaining. It's definitely fast-paced and overall quite fun. While it does have its issues, it definitely has it where it counts. Now, while I quite do enjoy this game, it definitely does have its share of flaws. The gameplay can feel unbalanced. And while that's always been true of the Mario Kart games, I do think it's something that Nintendo could have done a better job of. For instance, I really do think that the blue shell should have never been introduced, or if it had, it really shouldn't have been as overpowered as it is. Many of the items in the game are overpowered. Furthermore, the game essentially taxes you depending on how well you're doing. For instance, depending on what place you're in, you'll get significantly better or worse items. Now, I understand the logic behind this, as it helps balance out the gameplay and give those even way back a fighting chance, but it can also feel unfair, specifically when you're a lot closer to the finish line. Once you get from second or first place to ninth place, it feels very unfair and frankly very frustrating. And I think that's a gameplay issue that Nintendo really could have worked to balance out. Perhaps a future patch will do this, and I know that depending on which mode you play, whether it's easy, hard mode, or super hard mode, it does vary. Furthermore, while the game does have plenty of modes, a lot of the modes feel superfluous, and I personally just stick with the basics, as I've always done. With the modes, unlike Smash Bros., where every mode really does feel unique, the modes in Mario Kart really don't offer much, at least not for me. The other thing I want to talk about is the stages themselves. While the new stages are good, they're really nothing to write home about for me compared to some of the old stages. Sure, there are a few hits, like the Rainbow Road stage, and some of the newer stages like Hyrule Circuit I really enjoyed. I also quite like the introduction of Mute City from F-Zero as a stage, and even some Excitebike stages. But almost none of the new actual Mario Kart stages really interested me all that much. I found myself much more enjoying going back to the old stages, like those from Double Dash or 64. But that said, while the stages are fun, I just do feel like there really aren't that many really memorable new stages for me. At the end of the day, I quite enjoy Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and I'll definitely be playing it with friends for some time. It definitely doesn't have the same longevity to me as something like Smash Bros. Does, but it definitely felt worth the money to me, and I'm glad that I waited to get the Switch version. I'm gonna say that if you're somebody that already has played the Wii U version, I'm gonna leave it up to you whether or not the new battle mode makes it worth admission once again. For some people, it will. For others, it might not be that big a deal. If you haven't played Mario Kart 8 in any of its forms yet, and you own a Switch or are considering getting one, I definitely say that this game is worth taking a look at. I'm happy to give Mario Kart 8 Deluxe a 4.0 out of 5. Overall, definitely a solid experience with a number of flaws, but at the end of the day, if you can get some buddies over to play with you, I think you'll have a pretty darn good time. Anyway, thank you so much for watching my latest video game review, and stay in touch because the next game I'm going to review is going to be Batman Arkham Asylum. So, until next time, peace out! It's me, Mario!